the Shimano Curado DC. Probably one of the most talked about bait casters when it first came out. Some people really like it and some people don't like it. And today I'm going to give you my honest opinion after fishing with it for about 5 years. I'm going to give you some of the good and the bad, and then I'm going to try to debunk some myths as well that I've heard. So first, let's talk about the good. The Curado DC's digital control braking system, in my opinion, is not flawless, but I don't know what more you could ask out of it, to be completely fair. For me, it's been a game changer in soft plastics, especially in windy conditions. As I've previously stated in other videos, I'm a big soft plastic guy. I love throwing soft plastics, and the Shimano Curado DC just kind of makes it easier, honestly, to throw soft baits on windy days. Overall, it's a solid reel. It's built very solid. It's premium. Honestly, it feels premium, but it's not super bulky. It's not horrible, honestly, in the way of how it fits in the hand and how it feels, honestly. And it does reduce backlashes, or bird's nest, whichever one you prefer. Doesn't totally eliminate them, but it does eliminate some backlashes as long as you have the right settings put in place, or the right settings on the reel. So what I don't love about the Curado DC, like any other product, like any other reel, it's not perfect. For one, they're very expensive reels. I think I looked on Tackle Warehouse recently, and I think they're over $250. So they're pretty expensive. And if you're expecting the DC technology to eliminate backlashes altogether, you're going to be disappointed, because it definitely doesn't eliminate all your backlashes. It just mitigates the risk a little bit and helps you as an angler kind of be more consistent. It's also a little bit heavier than some of my other reels, which isn't a big deal for me. But if you are throwing soft plastics all freaking day, it does wear on you a little bit. You do notice it a little bit. All right, so let's talk about the myths now. So myth number one that I've heard is you can't backlash a DC. False. You can absolutely backlash a DC. Now, if you were to compare a traditional reel to the DC, I think that the traditional reel is going to have more backlashes and probably worse backlashes, if I had to take a guess. But the DC does backlash, and it will backlash. The system just helps you mitigate some of that risk and helps eliminate some of that. But I will say, when you do backlash a DC, you backlash it. It's pretty bad, at least in my experience. Myth number two, you can cast further with a DC than you can traditional. That might be true in some settings, and it might be true in some situations, but overall, I think it comes down more to the rod that you have, the line, the lure, and the technique that you're using. You can't cast this thing to the moon. You can cast it pretty far if you've got it dialed in, and depending on what you're using, but is it further than a traditional reel? I don't know if I buy that one. The third myth is that the DC makes you a better angler, or it's in some way cheating. I'm going to bucket those together. I can tell you firsthand with my experience that just because I'm throwing a DC, it does not guarantee that I'm going to catch any fish. I have definitely gotten skunked throwing the DC, and those of you that are watching on my videos, you guys know I've gotten skunked, and I'm definitely throwing the DC. It doesn't point out the fish. It doesn't magically make them bite. It's just a tool, man. The DC technology, it's just a tool. It's just another thing in the arsenal. By the way, quick shout out to Kill Cliff. I've recently joined their affiliate program. If you know me at all, you know I've talked about Kill Cliff for years. I used to order their stuff all the time. And when I lived in Georgia for work, I used to go to Publix and grab Kill Cliffs just about every single day when I was going to work out and all that good stuff. They're super clean, they're delicious, and honestly, you avoid some of the crash shot that you get whenever you drink like a traditional Red Bull or something like that. So if you want to help support the channel, beyond just watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff, check out the link in the description, and you can get 10% off of an order of Kill Cliff. So to wrap it all up, is the Shimano Curado DC, is it worth it? For me, yes, absolutely. I throw a lot of soft plastics. Like I said, I love soft plastics. when I have the Curado DC on, I can throw soft plastics, whether it's a super calm day on the water, a super windy day, and I don't have a problem. If you're a new angler or you're just learning how to cast with a bait caster and work a bait caster, it can probably help flatten the curve out. But I will say, no matter what, as a newbie, if that fits you, the thumb is going to be your best break no matter what reel you get. But if you want to flatten the curve a little bit, the learning curve that is, I would recommend a Curado DC. If you're an experienced angler, it's just fun to fish with, honestly, and just take something off your back. You can kind of leisurely cast this thing around. And you don't have to worry about it as much, especially if you're experienced. You know how to work a bait caster. You know the thumbs needs to be there. You know all that stuff, right? And so it just makes it a little bit easier, and it's a tool at the end of the day, right? So anyway, so now I want to ask you guys: have you guys ever fished with a Curado DC or any DC reel? Drop a comment with your experience. Maybe you share the same experience, maybe you don't. Let's talk about it. I'm open to other people's experiences and talking to them, and maybe I can give you some tips along the way. Like I said, I've had this thing for 5 years, and it's worked almost flawlessly. But anyway, if you found this helpful, please give it a like. Please let me know, if you guys like these videos. I try to do different tips, how-tos, and fishing content every week and post it here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, TrumanH_fishing, if you guys want to follow along there, get some behind the scenes and some other stuff. But anyway, that's all for today's video, and we'll see you on the next one.